Hey there, welcome to day 4 of our Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Today we're going to talk about priorities, prioritization, about 7 key areas of our life. I learned from Tony Robbins, decades ago, literally 4 or more decades ago, about how he breaks down. I think he probably learned it from Jim Rohn or someone else, but it's like everything else in personal development. We pick things up and we learn things and we take pieces of them and we make them our own. And one of the things I learned from Tony was the 7 key areas of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. Everything that we want, everything we desire. We talked about the 3 things, if anything were possible, that we would want. Yes, in April. And I was like this morning as I grabbed it because I still haven't changed it. I've used it. This will be the 5th challenge that I've used it in because it's just a quick and dirty example. Now, it's backwards for you because I do not have an iPhone. I don't have the ability to turn my fonts and my words around frontwards. I don't know how they do that, but it's a pretty cool feature. But this says, be grateful. This says, I'd like to apologize to anyone I have not offended yet. Excuse me. Please be patient. I'll get with you soon. I'm bound to offend you in some way, shape, or form. I try not to offend people, but sometimes I do. I tend to be a little direct, and that works for me. So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. Each of these different areas, of course, entails a lot. I mean, where you're probably thinking, well, where the heck's prioritizing my family in there? I put it under relationships. Where is my work, my career, my what I do for a living? I pile all that under financial. There's more than just your job and your career under financial, just like there's more than just your diet and exercise and physical health under physical. You get to decide what and where you want to put each of the things that are important to you in your life, in which category. But one thing we all want to do, and this is our tool today, our tool is prioritization. Our tool is not thinking that everything on that is equally important at any given time in your life. Guess what? Sometimes relationships and my family were much more important, at least that's the way I behaved, than my physical well-being, than taking care of myself. Sometimes my kids' mental health would come before my mental health. Sometimes my going to work and making a living would have to come before supporting kids in some of their shows and plays and activities or sports, because something had to be done to make sure that we were putting food on the table. So each of us at any given time want to be able to take a snapshot and say, what are my priorities? What area of my life is most important to me? And today what we're going to share is we're going to share 3 of these areas that are most important. They don't have to be in order for this. Just share 3 areas right now that you think are most important. I've noticed that this has changed for me over time, the way I prioritize these, and we're going to just number them 1 through 7, or you're going to do that as your homework. You're not going to share that, but you're going to number them 1 through 7. What is the number 1 thing, the most important thing to you right now? Mine's been physical for quite a while, and it goes in and out of that depending on what's going on in my life. But right now, again, I would probably, if I'm picking right now, I'd say my physical health and well-being has to come first. And I know that from my personal experience, if I don't take care of myself, I'm in big trouble. I'm not going to be able to do anything else, and nothing else will matter. And then what we want to do then is look at each of these: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And we want to say, okay, what area right this minute, right now, is the most important that I take care of or I handle, or is the most important, highest priority for me? So physical, financial, not financial, physical, relationships, and financial usually come out in my top 3. Now, I'm not sure if that'll be the same this time, because I've had some things change in my life. And so maybe financial isn't as important as it used to be. And I'm more concerned about contributing, giving value, putting things out into the world. I don't know. I haven't done the exercise yet. Our exercise is to look at each of these and then put them in priority order, 1 through 7. 7 being the least important right now. It doesn't mean that it's the least important. Some people would argue that you should balance each of these areas of your life. But I personally have learned that in my life, balance is absolute nonsense. And to expect that each of these are going to be of equal importance, it's like thinking that everybody should get a ribbon. It doesn't work that way. Some areas are more important. We put more emphasis on that. We put more energy into the things that are most important to us right now. And it doesn't mean that we're going to totally ignore the rest of the areas of our life. It just means that certain things have to take higher priority. I remember when I was younger, I used to try to do everything, right? grew up in the era where women should be able to do it all. We should be able to have our families and our career and this great contribution and all these things that we can do in the world and have awesome relationships and be doing adventurous, fun, amazing things. And I realized in probably my 40s that I spent most of my 40s, and I stopped in my 50s because I had a sudden cardiac arrest, but the majority of my 30s and 40s, I ran through my life like a chicken with my head cut off. And so there was no balance, and I certainly wasn't paying attention to all the areas and aspects of my life. And then after my sudden cardiac arrest, I realized, hey, I am the only one that's going to manage this and make sure that my life is working out the way I want it to. So I better start paying attention to things like my physical well-being that I've been totally ignoring for a couple of decades now. I better pay attention to my spiritual well-being and my contribution and how I really want to show up in the world. So again, briefly, 7 areas: physical, mental, emotional. I'll use my great graphic. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. Just number them 1 through 7. What is the most important? And then share in the comments below, like your top 3, right? Just our top 3, because I want to make sure that we touch on those for sure as we go through the challenge and break down our framework, our SOAP framework, to make sure that we're handling those areas of our lives to the best of our ability, and that we get the results quickly that we want in each of those areas of our life. That's it. Go out, have an absolutely amazing day. Any questions about this, hit me up in the comments below. It's a pretty simple assignment today, but we want to know what we're working on. What are we working for as we go through this challenge? Have a great day, and I'll be with you tomorrow.